Welcome to Coffee Talk, everybody.
Hi, Chris.
Oh, I could use some coffee this morning. We're pre-hydrating. It's another week. We're working through Ecclesiastes. We're going to jump right into looking back. Right?
Mm-hmm.
I enjoy working through wisdom, the wisdom passages, right? Proverbs, Ecclesiastes, some of the Psalms. Like, there's wisdom is throughout Scripture, and yet we also sometimes say this is the wisdom books.
Mm-hmm.
One of the things I think that I appreciate about them is that we have people who have written these things that they're doing their best to pass something on to the next generation. I think we see that a lot in how many of the Proverbs are, my son, listen to my instruction.
Mm-hmm.
We have in Ecclesiastes now someone writing and saying, you know, it's for the benefit of others so that they might not repeat the folly of the writer, of the one who has written this. And there's a benefit to it. But yet I think we misread it if we kind of look for easy answers and we go, okay, here's the thing that we're always going to follow. Because sometimes it's like, oh, we do that, but then we're kind of not able to do this at the same time. And how do we... And so I think what we started to talk about before we started recording is that as pastors, I think it invites us to kind of enter into a space of saying, you know what, we don't have this all figured out.
Mm-hmm.
We've dedicated our life to studying the Bible and communicating that to others and bringing people along the journey of following Jesus. But, we look into these passages, we see, like, you talked about how there's a wisdom of heaven that gives a different perspective to these passages, right? And so when we read things like eat, drink, and be merry, we go, wait, that doesn't sound right.
Yeah.
You know? Because when we have a sense of things tuned by the Spirit, we go, I hear that, but that doesn't seem to fit. There's a wisdom of the world that kind of goes, no, that's absolutely what we should do. You know? I see so many things around me and I go, that doesn't make sense. You know, and we can make jokes about it, whether it's, you know, a Cybertruck or whatever. Well, that doesn't make sense. That doesn't look right. But I think what you kind of started leading us into was even the writer of these passages themselves sometimes goes, okay, this is where I'm headed, but this is what makes sense to the people around me. And I guess how do we navigate, I guess, that discernment of knowing this truth or this information we're presented with? Is that wisdom from heaven or wisdom from the world? How do we kind of source that out? And I know that you do not have a perfect answer, right? But as we try and lead people in that,
I actually feel like, kind of like what you started with, like, there's not a lot of easy answers. But also, as we look into a lot of these things, as this teacher is sharing their wisdom, not always saying, do this, don't do that. Like, we're often looking for the prescriptive and the descriptive. You know, like, either give me some information or tell me what to do, right?
Yeah.
And I think sometimes we just kind of throw everything into a lot of these camps, and you know, as I'm experiencing this whole book, it's really emotionally messy because like half the time you're like, this is so depressing because all it's telling me that life is terrible. And then every now and then there's like here's a, right? And so, and a lot of I just kind of am echoing your thought of like, it's not just easy, but realizing that we're actually invited to kind of like be shaped by this whole journey that's taking us along. Something you can't just like copy and paste into somebody's mind and life. And that's what's making it difficult as well too, because we just want to be able to say, here's the 7 keys to success from Ecclesiastes. You know, trust God, do this, right? It's not going to be that easy either.
Yeah. I've been challenged more and more that the Bible is meant to be read, reread, memorized, thought about, reread,
and lived out,
and
right?
lived out, like
'Cause
meditated on.
Yeah,
right?
and when,
Like,
when you're holding that and saying, okay, I'm
yeah,
going through these
right.
experiences.
Yeah.
Well, and that's part of the meditation is like I'm living life, so I'm experiencing this, and now how does that work? Because that's Ecclesiastes are just like that.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I did this and it was like, I loved it, but I hated life. And it's like, but then there's this, but then there's this. And it's like, oh, he's living life and trying to figure out how God plays into it, And so like a couple times, some commentators, and I even mentioned it, were talking about the teacher is trying to reconcile what he knows and believes in his head with what he sees and experiences in the world.
Yeah.
And isn't that what we're talking about? How do I did this and it made perfect sense. Now I'm over here and it's not working.
Yeah.
What do I do with that, right?
Yeah.
And I think that's the wrestle.
Absolutely. Like I remember a conversation I had a few years back with someone in this very spot. That's not why we're filming Coffee Talk here. What you're saying combined with the physical location.
Foreshadowing or whatever.
Yeah, it reminded me of this conversation. Not someone part of our church, someone visiting. A guest we had that morning, just talking about how they wished life was simpler. Like, and by that they mean more black and white. Like, I wish it was just like this. Like, we hear that, we do it, but it seems like there's so much of life brings in a messiness and a muddiness and complications.
Yeah.
And I don't like mud.
Yeah.
I really don't. I would avoid it at all costs. There's something about it.
That's right, your kid?
Yeah, I know, 100%.
Okay, I literally
Yeah.
said that same phrase last night as I went to bed because I actually
Is it
had
my kid? Is that?
I no. Why can't life be simpler?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I actually had a difficult conversation with one of my children who
Like smug?
no, I was telling them,
Yeah.
here's what I've experienced, here's the follies that I stepped into.
Yeah.
Can I help save you from some of these,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Was it heard? Was it understood? I don't know.
Yeah.
But at least I can be able to say, okay, here's what I learned from
Yeah.
it's crazy how this is overlapping, but also at the same time, like, that situation is not easy and straightforward and all of that. And I'm feeling the same way of saying, even the conversation and even the understanding of like what all of this is, like sometimes I just lift my eyes to God and say, I'm like, this is so messy. Is this what you wanted for us?
Yeah.
Except, yes. And the only comfort I have in any of that is kind of something we touched on a little bit in Coffee Talk last week. I think what God wants most for us is for our character to grow and develop. And getting through the mud is part of that process.
Yeah.
And I'll probably never be someone who embraces it, but at the same time, recognizing it's a necessary part of my growth, of my kids, of everybody's growth, is figuring out what do we do with it.
Yeah.
Not that we should all be like, just embrace it and let's go, like head along into folly, but how do we as people of faith go, no, I think God's calling me to this, and I think this is what's best for us, but it doesn't make sense to anybody around me. And how do we find comfort in the midst of that? Is a hard thing without a lot of, it's not a 1, 2, 3 step process kind of thing where we just get through.
Yeah, maybe a better word is accept, like embrace. And I don't think you mean folly. You said folly, but I think what you meant is just all the messiness. You don't want to embrace that. I'm so excited about whatever is hard today. I think that's what you meant.
No, what I mean is more, I'm not going to do things that are absolutely unwise and foolish. Like, I shouldn't go mud is good, so I'm going to go do this thing that I know is bad for me.
Right.
Because that will make life muddier.
Yeah.
We don't run into that.
Right.
But we at least go, okay, I'm wrestling and I have these challenges and I'm going to get a little muddy here, and I'll just accept that as part of the process. Without choosing and saying, I'm just going to go do all these foolish things.
Right, okay, yeah, this is going to be,
And yet, if we were to take this last week's passage and kind of do some self-challenging and say, okay, is there parts of my life where I'm actually being motivated by pleasure, or I'm being motivated by success, or I'm being motivated by the rewards that I will gain, or if I just fill my head with knowledge, then life will be good and I'll be happy, right? I think there is times where we actually need to kind of check ourselves a little bit
Oh, yeah.
and before we wreck ourselves.
Well, and we were even talking in the office about this passage, that each one of those is an idol that
Yeah.
we make, right?
Yeah.
Often. And so I think, when your kid is struggling and they finally look up and say, "Help me, Daddy," or whatever, how that just, I think that's part of the point. Like, yes, so it's all going to be messy, so turn to me in it. I will be with you, and walk through with me and depend on me. And that's a struggle too. How do I depend on you when I can't see you or feel you? But yeah, I keep turning to you, right? So, yeah, welcome to the mess.
Right, no, exactly.
Pebble.
And I think probably what people may have noticed is that we've raised a lot more questions than we've answered this morning.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, one of our values is a sincere curiosity, so I think we're living out our values, so that's really good.
Yeah.
And
It's a lesson.
Or we just made it our value because what else we got? No, I think it's important. I think it's important because we see Jesus invite us into it, right? And I think if you're feeling a little bit like a child this morning who's maybe going to try and play in the mud, but Jesus, what does he say? The kingdom of heaven belongs to such as these, right?
Yeah.
And kids have a lot of questions. Some kids love, they're totally at peace when there's chaos around them. And so maybe this is raising questions. Maybe this is just helping you feel a better sense of childlike faith in the midst of it. Good on you for
Stay
those
with
two.
us.
Yeah.
Ecclesiastes,
I just think that Ecclesiastes invites a lot of questions, and with a little bit of answer, right? That when we look back, may we actually see, where God was active in the midst of it too, and see a better future. Than May our future be brighter than our past, I guess is kind of a way to think of it.
Right.
But speaking of the future, there are great things coming ahead, and we'll get to those in a second. We're also still celebrating an appreciation for kind of a fun Sunday afternoon. Soup was good. It was great connecting with people. Really enjoyed the way people came together and shared some laughs and some support for our Romania team. Very much appreciative for not just how all of you gave, but also just kind of spurred and nudged one another on too. And it was a great day.
There was some good, healthy competition.
There's some good I love good, healthy competition.
I enjoyed just actually standing here and just kind of like eyeing up, which one I thought this person was going to go for.
Yeah. So again, thank you for that. We do have a Romania piece coming out in our weekly email, and that is just a way for you to stay better connected and informed of what's happening in in our team life. And so I love all the questions when you've come up to me and said, asked bits. It's great. Really enjoy those conversations. There's probably more we should be communicating and sharing. So we'll have a link going out where you can sign up for an email from our team that we'll be writing. I'm going to say periodically because that's absolutely indefinite and unclear, as clear as mud. But it'll be as we go. You can expect kind of every couple of weeks a note, and then when we're away, maybe every couple of days when we're in Romania, we'll 2 to 3 times a week probably is more realistic updates from our team.
So if you're writing around 4 in the afternoon or 6 in the afternoon, what time would we get that email?
Oh, that's a great question. Romania is 10 hours ahead.
Okay.
So if it's 6 right, so if it's 6 in the afternoon, that's like what, 4 a.m.?
So we could be getting emails any time of the day.
It could be any time of the day.
Sounds good.
Anyways, but we just want to be able to, it'll be an opportunity for us to share, especially when we're away, share some pictures, share some prayer requests, share the joy. And just keep everybody informed. And also for Facebook users, we're developing a private Facebook group for people who are supporting the team and want to be involved. And my hope is that some of the other team members will be involved in posting in that as well, kind of our updates and things. And that'll be especially something we can do when we're there really quick and easily. Like, here's a picture from the day and 2 sentences about it kind of thing. There'll be more quick updates. I would not say go join Facebook if you want to be part of that, but if you are on Facebook, then it'll be another way to stay connected with what's happening with our team.
Yeah.
So
Great.
yeah, lots going on there. We have historically Sundays in June been like all head to the park, but Kevin, that's changing a little bit this year. Do you want to share?
So we enjoyed those kinds of days, but we also noticed that sometimes every Sunday in June also does become a bit much for those that are actually planning on being there all the time, because actually it's a fun hangout. So rather, we're going to say a couple times throughout the summer, so June 14th, and then once in July, once in August, and then we'll kind of bring it all together in September, that we will have a church picnic. So on June 14th, we're going to head down to the nut farm, gather together, and just enjoy an afternoon in the sun following our morning service.
Sounds good.
Yeah, great, thank you. June 2, reminder for our youth, that is the West Kelowna United Youth Group event here, June 2nd, which is a Tuesday. So don't show up June 1st, because you'll have the building to yourself. I mean, the empty parking lot to yourself. And so June 2nd, you can come out for that. Jeff, any other events that people need to be aware of?
We're in the middle of the baby bottle brigade, so just remember that between Mother's Day and Father's Day, they'd like you to fill a bottle or donate online, and then we'll collect all those at Father's Day. So got a few more weeks for that. I think that's it for me.
I think that's it for me. Kevin, any last word? All right, we'll see you again.